Hey guys, it's Brandon from Brandon's Baseball Cards, and this is the Collecting Vintage Unopened podcast. Hope you're all doing well this evening. Tonight, I have a very special guest who's going to join me, Jeff Hile, who has a company called 44 and More. Jeff, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. I was kind of surprised when you asked because I'm always so busy that I don't ever think about doing anything like this, but
Well,
I've
well,
kind of always wanted to do a podcast. So
oh, awesome. Well, thanks again for coming on. And why don't we start with just you chatting a little bit about your company and your background in the hobby and how you got into Unopened.
it's actually a really strange story. So 2 years ago, I owned zero collectibles, no cards, no unopened, no nothing.
Hmm.
I had a regular job, and a collection fell in my lap of a widow, and her husband was sick for like 20 years, and he bought and bought and bought and bought and bought, to the point where it was a sickness itself. Like he just kept going and kept going. The only thing is, he was buying like the most epic stuff ever. He's buying 79 hockey, he's buying 86 Flair basketball, and a lot of non-sport stuff, all the 70s shows and stuff like that. So I was the first one to see this collection. And even though I knew zero about anything, I knew it was special.
Hmm.
And I was the last one in there. We made a deal, and that was 2 years ago. And I've been nonstop since. And it's been, I'll say, fun. learning all these things, all the variations, all the non-sport has been great. And then the unopened groups and getting into auctions, and it's just been unreal. Like, it's such a short amount of time to go from knowing nothing to now I'm running auctions and starting my own auction company and consignments, and it's just it's all gone really really,
That's
really fast. So I'm still learning, and it's good. Especially it's people like you and Kurt and everybody in the hobby that's so willing to help. That's been huge for me, um, in my process, because I mean, most people who know secrets aren't, they don't tell them. You know what I mean? And they just
Mhm.
leave you out there to dry. And it's been good when you guys at least to kind of guide me, on just know what I'm talking about and know what I'm doing and looking at. So
Sure,
it's
sure.
it's it's good.
Yeah, no, no. Well, I mean, that's if you can't help, especially when people are first starting out, then I mean, the point of the hobby is to share it with people.
Right.
And this is a very niche thing that we do. And so there's only so many people that are crazy enough to even be interested in
And then
in this
and then
stuff.
the rest come on and say you're crazy. Like, this
Yes,
is, what are you
exactly.
what are you guys doing over here?
Yeah, yes. Most other when have you been to the national yet, or have you done a?
I haven't. So the last I've had the opportunity to go, obviously,
Sure.
and it's just been, I can't see myself stepping away,
Hmm.
um, because it's only me here. So it's like, I do an auction every Sunday. Sunday ends, and I got to pack everything up and then kind of start all over again. So I'd love to get down there. It's just getting some people to help, so where I can step away for a little bit. But I go to some of the bigger shows around here. Um,
Sure.
the Rich Altman show was just this last weekend out over
Hmm.
here at the Shriners in Massachusetts. So
Hmm.
that's one of the bigger shows, in Massachusetts and on the Northeast. So
That's cool. Yeah, because well, I don't know if you've had this experience, but especially with unopened stuff, everybody looks at nobody knows what to make of it.
right,
Like card collectors, I show them a pack and they're like, "Okay, that's 1978 tops. Why is that
right,
cool?"
right. Why is it special?
Yeah, this
They
is a
they have they have no clue, but they know
yeah,
what that shiny thing is over there.
yeah, yeah,
I can't stand modern. It's just like, you can see it. It's just a bubble. It's just chasing after the next big
hmm.
prospect, and they don't scan well, really.
Sure, sure. Well, it's also manufacturing scarcity versus
Right. Eh,
genuine scarcity.
right. And like we were talking about, before we started, it's not what's in there. It's not what's in the pack. It's not what's in the box. It's the
Yeah,
fact that it is, and the
yeah,
fact that it exists here right now in its original state. It never, it doesn't matter what's in there. It'd be great to find, if it
yeah,
was 79 baseball, it'd be great to find an Aussie in there, but chances are you're not going to, because
yeah.
you originally, chances are, you weren't going to. And then to find it in good condition, you know, It's just that's why there's only what 10 of them. It's like,
Yeah.
it's the fact that it remains sealed
Yes,
to this day.
absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Period.
And some of them, it's amazing to me. You'll see some in the group where they'll have a pack from the mid 50s or earlier, and it's cherry. It's still
Right.
pristine. So it's
Right.
not just the fact that some of these things are unopened to me, but it's the just
And the
how
fact that
beautifully preserved.
somebody had the mindset
Hmm.
in that day to put it away and be careful and like protect
Yeah.
it for that long, and then
Yes.
pass that to the next generation as well. You have, because that's two generations, right?
Yeah.
That took care of that pack till now.
Yeah.
So that took a father passing down that appreciation to a son, and that's what's amazing. And like, I feel like we're losing that a little bit in this next generation, because we're
Mhm.
losing like the care for ownership and for, really anything. Like it just seems that it's going that way, where you'll see an estate and the whole thing's being sold off because they want nothing to do with it. And sometimes that's the only way these collections ever see the light of day.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I think there's always the attic finds. Mr. Mint found that, this
Right.
giant
Right.
54 Bowman football find, and I think it was
Right.
Paris, Tennessee. I think that was the find.
And it's like,
Uh,
if it really wasn't an attic, like, how is that still good? Like, how is
yes.
that not, how is that not heat warped those cards, and like rats and mice and bugs, and I, I don't know how much of a story it is, and not where it's just like
Yeah.
publicity, where it's like, make a good story out of some find that you made. It's like, oh, it was buried in the Grand Canyon. Awesome. Like, we unearthed it from like a mile down,
Well,
pristine
yeah.
shape.
Well, yeah. Well, Mr. Mint was known for his marketing, so that could absolutely be.
And
I
that
wouldn't put it.
draws it not only draws people to what you're saying, but like it also leaves the hope that you might find something in
Mm-hmm.
someone's attic someday, and you're like, grandma, what do you got in your attic?
Oh,
And it kind of
absolutely.
starts the drive over again, which is what I was saying. Like, it needs to be passed down, which, like, I like people who mix. So say people who do repacks, they
Hmm.
mix modern and they mix vintage.
Hmm.
If you were going to do it with raw cards or packs, to do like a blaster box with some modern and then throw some vintage in there, so they're like, oh, what's this? Or, now they're learning about, because they're in their hand now and they can see them, and it's like you're opening it up to the next generation to like these things that are older, instead of just chasing the next, big thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think. Yeah. The youth have to buy into it for this hobby for the vintage side of the hobby to continue. They
Right.
have to buy into it. They can't. We can't lose a generation of collectors. There have to be. Yes, a lot of
I
them just
don't,
like
but
the
is it even
shiny
but
stuff.
is it even possible either in one generation to lose it? And I don't know what the I don't
Sure.
I think it is,
Hmm.
because we've seen what's happened with technology and everything advancing so quickly,
Hmm.
that it's like, I think, I don't know, it's a weird time for everything. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
what's the next thing? And you'd
Sure.
like to think you can follow trends, and maybe, how old are you?
I'm 36.
Yeah, me too. So it was like, what were you playing with at 12, at 13, at 14, at 15? And
Yeah.
you'd like to think you can follow that trend forever. But
Hmm.
like, what now are they making that's going to be, the next Pokemon, or the next, even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or
Hmm.
anything like that? Nintendo, I don't see anything now that they're producing that's going to be collectible, because they make so many of them,
Sure.
20 years from now.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it seems there's only a few things in the last 10 years in regards to sports collectibles that are newer products, and those are the key rookie years. So
Right.
whatever
And
the
only
Ota
the key rookie
yeah,
years.
yeah, the
Right.
Otani rookie
The
year
Mike
for
Trout.
Cardinals. Yeah,
Right.
the Mike Trout
And I mean,
Harper
even
year.
going back 20 years,
Hmm.
I mean, you really only have LeBron, Kobe, stuff with Michael Jordan patches and stuff like that in it. But everything else, I mean, it's not even worth buying. It's not worth selling. It's not worth holding on to,
Sure.
because we already know that nobody in that rookie class is going to be good or whatever. And
Hmm.
I think that's actually a good thing for vintage. I think it piles back into, if people want to stay in the hobby,
Hmm.
and it goes for collectors and dealers. but dealers especially, if you want to stay in the hobby and you want to stay relevant, make money, I think you have to go backwards
Sure.
because give me all the dead guys. You can't
Yeah.
change the past. You can't change the past.
Hmm.
And I don't want, I don't want LeBron talking on Twitter and now his card goes down 80% because he's an asshole.
Sure.
It's just, I'll take all the dead guys.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. And the ones that are assholes are still awesome. I mean, Mickey
Right.
Mantle, probably he wasn't the greatest human to ever walk the earth, but he was still Mickey
No,
Mantle.
but you know,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a Twitter account. So everything he's ever said doesn't exist out there in space, like for anybody to read.
That's very true. Yeah.
I just saw a picture of him leaning on a bat. He had gray sideburns. And my buddy was like, I think this is when he just got out of rehab or something like that. I'm like, he looks so strange.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't see the people after when they're
Oh yeah.
done, they're done.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No,
That's it.
he lived hard. Yeah, what could have been? He could have had 20, 30 more good years if he would have
Right.
not burned the candle at both ends. But I mean,
You
so
don't know until you know.
that's true. That's true. So one thing that I always wonder, and this is not to pick on any particular company, but I do think there is a company that is hoarding a lot of vintage unopened, and
Mm.
it's Fritch cards.
So still, even after he's passed, I mean, I can't imagine the
Hmm.
extent of that,
Hmm.
and no matter what you saw come out of that collection, I don't think they would let go of everything, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
So it's like, say you saw 10% of it.
Hmm.
I mean,
Well, and that's what's so
his
crazy.
his name's on the box for a reason, right?
Yeah, well, and that's what's so crazy is literally I'll check their website from time to time, and this is actually a good advertisement for them because I've been trying to get them to come on the podcast. Hopefully, they don't see this episode. If they, fortunately, Rich doesn't see this episode, he'll be like, "Never, never."
Don't tell our secrets.
I am not touching. Not, yeah, you're talking about
Everybody
me
knows it.
hoarding stuff now. Um,
Everybody knows.
yeah, he'll just randomly put on a random day, a random Tuesday, a 1972 Topps football rack pack on his website,
Right, like he was bored one day.
and it was just
Yeah.
like, okay. And then 2 weeks later, there'll be six of them, and I'm like,
Right,
this isn't just something you lose track of. You
right,
don't go,
right.
oh, wait a minute, we have a 72 Topps football rack pack sitting here.
Slow bleed. Tell me, I
Yeah.
mean, I know you and you wouldn't sell ever, and then that's how those collections are created. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it has to be a slow bleed because otherwise you're ruining the same thing that you're trying to do.
Yes.
The more you release, the rarer it is. And if hey, I have 100 of these,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, there's no population on BBCE because people rip them open, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can't keep count. So,
Sure.
if you knew how many existed and you knew how many you had,
Oh, yeah.
then I mean, slow bleed. Why not?
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
You control it. It's like, oh my God.
yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense for them to do it, but I've just the cases of 1979 Topps baseball racks they're sitting on.
Right.
Like, there's rumors like they just have, I mean, it could be pallets of this stuff.
And you have to figure 79 hockey, 86 basketball as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which
When
is
I
just,
mean, they say that there's only so many cases left out there,
oh,
which
yeah.
I find hard to believe because they made so many of them
Mm-hmm.
that I bet there's a ton of them sitting
Oh, yeah.
warehouses, garages.
Well, and what's amazing to me is the 87, the second year Fleer basketball, the print runs
It's half.
half
It's half.
because it was such a bad seller.
It's half. Yeah.
And to me, that is
Yeah.
still a product that is undervalued.
Yeah. So and they were $40,000 a box at the
Mm-hmm.
height of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I flew out to Vegas because I found a guy on eBay and he didn't want to do the transaction on eBay, neither did I.
Mm-hmm.
So I flew out there with cash and met him for an 87 Fleer basketball box wrapped. And I texted Steve the cert and everything beforehand. And I said, hey, is this good? He goes, yep, you're good to go. I'm literally on the plane out there. And I ended up picking it up and I ended up buying another one from Probstein.
Mm-hmm.
And then I held on to him for a little bit and it just, it went down and down. And I put one at Golden and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it did 10K. I don't think it did 10K. And I lost there, obviously.
Sure.
But I don't lessons learned.
Sure, sure.
Oh man, that
Yeah, no,
was,
yeah. Well, I
and
mean, oh, go ahead.
I didn't even have fun in Vegas. No, you're good. I just didn't even have fun in Vegas when I went out there. I grabbed it and then I just hung around for a couple days and I left. That was
Oh man. Yeah, you gotta be able to
it.
enjoy the city a little bit. Although that city will take your soul and ask for
No,
change.
yeah. So it's like you either drive by and just wave and just enjoy the sights,
Yeah.
or I mean, if you get out of your car, then you got to get into something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and as much as 87 Fleer has tanked, 88 Fleer is even worse.
It is, yeah. So that was, well, when I came into
Hmm.
it in April or May of 2021. So you're
Hmm.
talking tippy top coming on the way down, right?
Sure.
So it sucks because in the last 2 years, I've seen a little leveling out, but for the last 2 years, all I've seen is down. So
Sure.
it's like it's disheartening, but it's like I've cut my teeth on it too. So it's good, going forward. But when I came in, 88 Fleer was like 65, I want to say 7,000 a box.
Hmm.
They were selling four wrapped.
Sure.
And I mean, they've come down to what, four?
Hmm. If that,
If not,
even,
if
yeah.
not less. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something I check all the time, but I know that they haven't done well.
Yeah. I mean, now's a good time to buy, I think, for some of this
I,
stuff. I don't know. I think we haven't seen the bottom yet
is
with
it?
some of the Fleer basketball. Yeah, maybe not. I don't want to be like
And that's what I'm saying about like I bought I entered at the top. I don't want to say I bought because it was kind of a weird deal, but like
sure.
I came in at the top and I've seen nothing but down. So every single day for me has
Hmm.
seemed like a good day to buy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't know where the level is. I can look at data, but it's limited depending on what you're looking at.
Hmm.
So it's kind of been tough to adjust on the way down, but I've done well on a lot of things despite, learning some hard lessons as well.
Sure. Well, one of the things I think people should understand, and this is not to give investment advice to anybody out there. I don't want to be like the sports
Oh
card
my
investor
God,
guy
no, don't listen to us.
that everybody hates. But a lot of these, especially unopened, if you're going to buy like 78 tops, 79 tops, we'll stick with baseball because that's what I know best. It's going to take a little time for that to continue to spike. If it's just a 78 common
And I
wax
think
box,
for good reason too.
yeah,
You were born in 1986,
yep,
so now we're talking another 7 years
hmm,
before just that generation was born.
yeah,
Now, fast forward another 15 years. Now they were 15 in 1979,
hmm,
right? So they were born in 1964.
hmm,
So that's the generation that it spikes on. People
sure,
born in 1964 are going to want that box because they were growing up in that time, buying
sure,
those cards off the shelf. And I think that's when you see it the highest.
sure,
I mean, unless Ozzy goes or something.
sure, yeah, yeah, yeah. Things like that do happen where people start to go crazy. The
No,
demand,
absolutely,
at least
absolutely,
temporarily. Um, so
and sometimes very temporarily.
yes, oh yeah. I mean, just
Hours.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then it's right back where it was or worse, where
Right,
people are just like, why? I don't even know why I'm chasing this stuff. It's
right.
just fear of missing out.
Yep,
And
that's all it is. And when Bill Russell died,
hmm,
everybody knew he was going to die. He put all the stuff up for auction, and the
yeah,
day it happened, I mean, you couldn't get to eBay fast enough, and all these cards are flying off the shelf. And then
sure,
it only lasted maybe a day, and then it
sure,
was right back, and then underneath, and then it was, it's gone down ever since. But
sure.
hype is
Yeah, no,
short.
yeah, no, no, you're right. I mean, it's amazing how, I mean, when Kobe died, I remember all of a sudden just people
Right,
putting on his autograph for 40 times what it was going for three
right,
hours before, and people are snatching it up. And it was,
right.
there is quick money to be made, but it's also not, if that's your principal, if
Goal.
your yeah, if your principal goal
Right,
is quick money,
right.
this
Don't
I
bother.
this is like the stock
Like it's
market.
not.
There's
Nothing's quick. Nothing's easy in this. Yep.
no, this is not an easy and I think the
And
modern
it might be easier than the stock market with like predicting trends and like
hmm,
because there's not as many companies to pick from. So it's like that's why I like non-sport. I think that still has a lot of room to go
sure,
with people coming back around and discovering some of the original,
hmm,
Marvel stuff and some of the original anything really, the Batman stuff. If they come out with another movie or anything to make it relevant again for the next generation, and then they start working backwards.
Sure.
So I think it has room to go, and then
Sure.
sports will go, as they mature, for lack of a better term.
Sure. Yeah, well, I mean, what's your favorite type? So Marvel, is that one of your favorite non-sport or
No, 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 not necessarily. I just like non-sport, and I know that sounds stupid to say. Kurt, what up? It's actually a lot of it's his fault, and a couple other friends, that have kind of told, like, just some of the stuff they have, some of the stuff I've discovered through them, and then, like, it's a rabbit hole, and this, like, once you open it up and you start seeing all the stuff that there is, and all the 1970s TV and movie boxes. I mean, every single movie or TV show they had trading cards for. I
Sure.
mean, that's been, and then you discover that, and they've been doing that forever. And then you start getting to the old cigarette cards and, like, advertising stuff, and it's never ending. And then there's foreign stuff, and
Mhm.
it's like another whole dimension of a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Doug Smith, if he
Yeah,
listens, hey Doug, and,
he
he's
actually
been on
helped me
here.
out. He helped me out the other night
Oh, did he? Oh yeah, yeah. His
with some
non-sport,
foreign stuff. Yeah.
sure, yeah, his foreign packs. Some of his, it's like, this is a Swedish Peter Pan and Robin Hood combo pack. Or I'm just like, what do you even? How do people even know this is a thing? Like,
You don't until you know,
yeah,
and then you're like, oh my God, why is this not more money?
yes, not well, and yeah, talk about a market that you can really get some cool stuff for not a lot of
Yeah,
money with
for not
non-sport.
that much money. And it's weird. You're like, you feel like it should be selling for more, and you're like, I just steal this, and
Yeah,
then, like, you figure out that you didn't, and you're like, oh, no, 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 that's what it's worth.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah,
Cool.
it's legitimately stuff from the 50s, stuff from the 40s, stuff from the 30s for $100 a pack, $150 a pack, which, relatively speaking, a 1953 Topps baseball pack, you're going to need to either
Stupid.
yeah, take out a second mortgage on your house. You're gonna
Right. It's not going to happen. Right.
no, no, it's not. Easily six
But
or
some of the non-sport stuff, I mean,
yeah,
you can get it in GAI, uh,
hmm
graded at
hmm
some of these bigger auction houses. And, like, I mean, content is everything. If it's a little off, like, it's an odd pack, for dirt cheap.
Oh, sorry. We just had a brief. It just cut out very briefly. Sorry about that. The internet just cut out. I don't know what just happened, but no. But compared to the sports market,
Sport,
I mean,
right?
non-sport, you cannot go wrong. The art on the wax packs. Are you a wax pack guy, or cello, or racks, or what's your favorite type of non-sport pack? You
Um,
have a
so I don't have. I mean, I have a crazy assortment of wax packs.
mhm,
But I think, like, the old. I'll show you right here.
sure.
So I have this. So this is 1978 Swedish, and I won't try to pronounce it,
Oh,
but
cool.
they're rock stars. So this one has John and Yoko on the front of it, and they had a ton of series of these. But so there's
Oh,
Batman, but it
oh,
wasn't licensed
wow.
in Sweden, so
Oh, wow.
it's not Batman. But they have a bunch of different colors for a bunch of, and everybody's rookie card is in here. So here's the Rolling Stones,
Oh, cool.
and these are just blister packs. This
Huh,
one's not punched, but
that is so
from
cool.
from Sweden. And my buddy, you've seen Jim Doyle, right?
Yes, I have.
In the groups. So
Yep.
he got me
Yep.
into these. And then I started buying them directly from Sweden, and I've graded a few. Here, I'm gonna grab this real quick. So this is Kiss,
Oh, cool.
and this is a little paper pack, a little piece
Oh,
of tape at the end of it,
oh, that's
and
cool.
that's a pop. That's the only one graded by
Wow.
PSA.
What year is it?
1978 Swedish Samlar Soccer.
Okay. That's cool.
But there's 900 cards in the set. Yeah.
All right.
So, you ever seen the card with Muhammad Ali shaking Superman's hand?
Yes, I have. Is
That
that
is that
that's
is the set.
Oh,
That is the
okay.
set. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's different colors for different, I don't know, some of them are rock stars, movie stars, cartoons, the Smurfs, the Muppets, like it just goes on and on and on. So I fell in love with that set.
That's
And
cool.
then this was actually, if we can put
Sure.
this down, or actually I won't, but this was actually in the collection that I bought. So it's a
Oh man.
1958 Argentina Disney, and it's original 50
Oh wow.
packs sealed.
Oh
And it's
man.
just so cool.
That
And it's
is.
just, I just love this thing. Like,
Oh wow.
and you see the empty boxes every once in a while, but you don't see it sealed up like that. Like
Sure. Well, and then so I remember in the group you I think I bought a couple and gave it to my grandfather. You had
Zorro
a ton of the Zorro packs.
packs.
Yeah. And
So talk about controlling the market. I had over 600 of them from what this one collection that I bought,
wow,
including 4 sealed boxes.
man.
I want to say Kurt bought one, but I could be wrong. Um, and then a couple other people in the group uh, bought one as well. And then I kept one because I
That's
figure that's the type of thing you want to hold on to.
yeah, definitely. So this is all part of that first buy that you did, the big.
It was. And then a couple other like kind of special things that I figured hold on to.
Oh, cool.
The autos in 1977. I'll save the best for last year. Wacky packages,
Oh, cool.
79 first series.
That's
Not too
awesome.
old, but it's just like I just love that it's unopened. Like
Mm-hmm.
again, it doesn't matter. There's the Dukes.
Oh, cool.
I think there was 4 of these in the collection. And then this is a little dirty here. So
Oh,
it's a
cool.
1979 Tops box. Totally normal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until we do this.
The original baseball card
What
exchange
up,
wrap.
Steve?
Yep.
And it was a weird thing, and it was actually good that I had these boxes because he was one of the first people that I reached out to because I had his business card right here.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I looked at who he was and I figured it out, and I emailed him. I showed him pictures, and I'm like, "Is this good?" He goes, "Whoa, I haven't seen one of those since like 2004." And I'm like, okay, that's got to be good, right? Like you're the guy that made it. Like, what do you mean?
Sure.
And but it started this relationship between me and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone on for 2 years, emails back and forth. Like I've done a ton of rapping with him. I've done a ton of,
Mm-hmm.
I put a ton of stuff at Leland's right when I started, and he rapped all that, and it worked because he's awesome. Like
Yeah.
anytime you email him, it's within the hour
Yeah.
he's right back at, and it's amazing. The first time, because I didn't know how big the company was, and the first time he emailed me, I had to ask. I'm like, "Is this actually Steve? Like you actually?" Because it was so quick. It was like 5 minutes. I'm like, "You answer your own emails that quickly?"
Yeah.
Like what? I knew how busy I was at the time, and I'm like, "How? You having pallets come in? Like where do you have the time to answer emails?"
Well,
But he's awesome.
oh no, everybody that knows Unopened knows what a resource he is and what a good human he is. He's just an honest
Right,
broker in a
right.
hobby that doesn't always lend itself to honest actors, unfortunately. When
And I mean, we can get into that later if you want, but that's funny that you say that unhonest actors, because I think that that's what that was. And there's been a couple attempts to, I think, make him look bad and
Yep.
and put a bad name on BBCE. And I
Hmm.
think so far they've failed miserably.
Hmm.
It was a really good attempt, 2 attempts, but I mean that shows too how solid his name is, and how the people who know.
Yeah.
And you're gonna put it out there in the public and try to trick the general public into thinking, because the general public doesn't matter in this
Yeah.
business. They're
Yeah.
not the ones buying. They're not the ones selling. It doesn't matter. Like nobody cares about Pokemon anyway. Anyway, so
That's true. No, no, you're right. I mean, and I think generally it's not a coincidence. It's the same. The people that don't believe in getting things authenticated usually don't have a whole hell of a lot of valuable items in their collection. Not a coincidence. Second thing that's not a coincidence is they've never actually had an experience of baseball card exchange. yet they have a
Right.
lot of opinions about baseball card exchange, which
Right.
this is America, so good for them, I guess. But sometimes it's like you sound like a jackass.
Because
Don't,
again, anybody who knows, like I said,
yeah,
in the first 5 minutes of emailing this guy, he was
yeah,
right back on it, and you could tell he was genuine even through email. So it was like anybody
yeah,
talking shit just doesn't know.
yes, yes. I,
That's it.
I,
Period.
I literally, I went to see their shop in person a few weeks ago. I was in Chicago for a conference, and I send Steve an email. With 2 minutes later, he sends me a message back, and he goes, "I won't be here because I'll be traveling, but I've already sent my retail manager Billy a message. He's going to contact you on Facebook and set up so you can film in the store and interview him."
Oh Jesus.
And it was just like,
What?
don't you like? Why are you so good?
Yeah.
It's just
And
amazing. But
and when do you sleep?
yeah,
Seriously.
exactly. It was just like literally, okay, that was really fast, and to already contact your manager, like I'm I'm a nobody in this, and yet you're making me feel,
No, but that's the thing with him is
yeah,
there's no such thing as a nobody because you
yeah,
have to figure he's rapping,
yeah,
you know, I mean, he's rapping everything he raps, right? So it's like,
yeah,
the people who own those things and
mm-hmm,
you feel like you're not important, but he definitely reverses that and makes you feel like like you're his
yeah,
buddy.
yeah,
He changed the website recently and I went to go, I wanted to send him a few boxes and I said, hey, I can't find these boxes on your website. It's like, Welcome Back Cotter and
mm-hmm,
1982 Don Russ Golf. They're just like kind of obscure things. And he's like, oh, we haven't added everything. We're in the process of adding. He's like, but Jeff, just put it in a box and send it. He's like, we'll take care of it. You don't need, just do it. Put it
yeah,
in a box. Stop thinking about it. And I'm like,
yes.
oh yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm glad. Well, that's good you've gotten to know him too, because talk about a resource. I mean, he's
Right.
his because especially it's his job too, and there's no one with more experience. I mean, Curtis. I mean, everybody in this for all of the crap we hear on sports card radio and these other channels that promote a lot of hostility in
But
the
are
hobby.
also hype shows, and they're
Yes,
not
yes, that's
because
true.
I mean you're not going to get your views from talking about what I mean one thing. They
Yeah,
want to create a drama around it,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
it's just now you're just not talking about important things.
yeah,
You might as well just talk about sports in general, and then you can go and talk about the weather and
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
shit.
So in this fine that you had, I'm curious how many. So overall, how many total packs roughly were there, and what
Oh,
was their proportion of sport to non-sport?
all
Do you have
right.
any idea? Because it seems like, I mean, some of the pictures you sent me
Yeah,
in our
and
in
and
our
I mean
conversations, I don't even know how you
we
manage it looking
I
through it.
honestly I don't either, and it's been a lot over the last 2 years, but
Hmm.
it's and I have a if I pull it up here. So it was a whole house full, like wall to wall,
Hmm.
whole rooms full. And the place wasn't that big, but she didn't have anywhere. It was like her whole bedroom. It was everywhere when I walked in there,
Hmm.
and then also a whole storage unit that was full. I think a 10 by 15 storage unit full to the door. You open the door and there was boxes right there in your
Jeez.
face.
Oh man.
And it got to the point for him, and I think about it now as I'm in this now, kind of where it's a weird thing. Like he bought all this stuff,
Hmm.
and I joke around like I wouldn't have bought a single thing,
Hmm.
but I bought it all. You know what I mean? All at one time.
Sure.
So it came on so fast that like I just kept going, and I learned a lot in the process. But he got to the point where he was not even opening the packages. So if he knew what was inside, and a lot of times he was buying from eBay.
Hmm.
Um, he bought a lot from Kruk Cards.
Hmm.
He bought a lot from. I'm pulling BBCE receipts from 2003,
Hmm.
which is probably not too soon after they were even established.
Sure.
And he's buying a lot from the different magazines that were selling cards at the time, but a lot off of eBay. So if he knew it was in the box, he would write on the outside of the box what it was, And that's the way it remained for 18 years in the
Wow.
storage unit. So I'm opening the boxes, the original eBay boxes. I'm pulling the original invoices out of these boxes. I can see what he paid 18
Wow.
years ago. And I can go, oh, that's a 6X right there in 18 years. So over that span, and he didn't have a whole lot of misses. You know what I mean? I
Sure.
think he loved Tiger Woods. He loved golf. There was 72 boxes of 1981 Donruss golf. There was 13 boxes of 82 Donruss golf. There was a case of 86 football, 2 cases of 87 football, um, 2 cases, 3 cases of Superman. See, all sealed.
Wow.
Yep. Um, a box of 77 basketball, a box of 77 football, 15 boxes of 79 football. I had over 500 packs. And 79 football, they used that wrapper for 3 years.
Sure.
So not knowing anything about it, right? You're sitting
Uh-huh.
here staring at 500 packs of 79 football, and you're not. Um,
Hmm.
81's easy to tell because the gum is a lot thicker. But of
Sure.
course, none of them were 81s. So now I'm trying to press packs, and it was really early on too, so I have no clue what I was doing. But
Sure. Sure.
so and then non-sports was, I mean, box after box after box, Mork and Mindy, Three's Company,
Mhm.
Superman. I mean, there's no way for me to even guess um, how many boxes total, but hundreds and hundreds. Like absolutely insane. And I consigned a lot of it with Leland's just to get some capital right up front.
Mhm.
And was able to pay her off a chunk and kind of, buy me some time to get into this stuff because processing it was ridiculous.
Yeah, sure.
First of all, not knowing what I was doing, not knowing what I'm looking at, but then doing it by myself, like
Mhm.
thank God for the internet and again Facebook groups and stuff with you guys in it because nope, it wouldn't even be possible. Like it would have been done
Sure.
a long time ago.
Sure. Sure.
Um, and then another thing, there was and again, I opened the box originally, and there was two 800 count card boxes filled with hockey packs, 79 tops, and then a bunch of 70s and 80s O-Pee-Chee. And
Mhm.
that was one of the things I actually, and a ton of empty boxes. And it wasn't that I don't think he was doing anything weird because everything was pulled out of the original. He was just buying way too much stuff, and he
Sure.
lost control of it. And it going through it, it was like I can't imagine what it must have been like to just have all this stuff and not keep track of it because
Sure.
he just lost it at some point and just kept buying.
Mhm.
But I had an empty 79 hockey box. I built it and sent it to Steve through Leland's. Thank God I did that because they didn't charge Leland's for the rejection, but it was no good. So
Oh,
then
okay.
and then that leaves me. I think I have 60 packs of 79 hockey now, where it's like, what do I do? Open them all and see what's inside of them because you know what's inside of them.
Yeah.
And I had asked Kurt, I said, what do you do with something like this? He goes, nothing. There's nothing you can do. Like,
Yeah.
just forget about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
either you're gonna open all the packs or put it on the shelf and never touch it ever again. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that's it. Those are the only two options.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
that's rough, and I mean that's one of those years. It's like '86 Fleer basketball. If it's out there and it's raw,
yep,
people don't touch it for a
yep.
reason.
And
Why
I
isn't this?
don't,
Yeah.
and I know that now.
Sure, of course, of course. Oh yeah, no, no, no. I mean, well, but in your defense too, you were buying a ton of stuff. If that was the only thing you were buying, then
Right.
that's a whole different animal.
and
But
and
no,
it, and it kind of worked out. Not that's that at the time. I think that was a $60,000 or $80,000 box if that was complete. But I didn't
sure,
know. I did. It's not like I saw it and
sure,
was expecting a 79 box to be good, and then I missed out on that money. Like
sure.
it was just part of the big package.
Mm-hmm.
There was 20. He had 26 empty boxes of 86 Fleer basketball, over 250 wrappers,
Wow.
15 sets, but only one Jordan, only one base rookie card, and I had 10 Jordan rookie stickers
Okay.
and then probably 15 sets of the rest, and only one base Jordan. So I was like, you opened all these, and there's supposed to be one or two in a box.
Yeah.
There should be 50 of them.
Yeah. That's really wonder what happened to the rest of them. That's so
I don't
weird.
know. I don't know. But I do know if you knew they were there,
Yeah.
that might be something that you pulled back and kept for
Sure.
safekeeping or for, you know, security purposes.
Sure. Yeah. You open 250 packs. I mean, yeah. If there's three, sometimes four to a box. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of
And there was
Jordan rookies.
not one sealed pack of 86
Oh
basketball.
man,
That
that's
was
rough.
just wild.
Yeah,
Like,
no, yeah, that's so he had some stuff. But did he keep the wrappers for other things that he opened, or was it just the Fleer
yeah,
basketball?
no, there was actually a whole box of, so there's like a 5-row box full of opened packs. So,
Mm-hmm.
he was sitting there. I can picture him sitting on the chair,
Mm-hmm.
watching TV, opening packs, pulling whatever he's pulling,
Mm-hmm.
putting it back together. Like, you know what I mean? Like you tuck it back into the pack and just fill in a box with it. And I actually pulled, so there was 81, I think it's 81, OPC hockey. And out of open packs, so I pulled a couple Joe Montanas. So
Mm.
that right there can show you that he wasn't sitting there trying to do something funny. He missed a Joe Montana in a
Sure.
1981 football pack.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I came
Sure.
along to find it. I found a couple Mark Messier OPG rookies,
Mm-hmm.
and one graded a PSA 9, which is,
Nice. Yeah.
it's come down a lot. But I mean, that's a $1,500 card
Sure.
that I found sitting in an open pack in a box. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, and that doesn't happen. And
No. No.
it's a 10. If you ask me, it's a 10 all day.
Sure. Well they do the pop control with that stuff.
Don't even
It
get me
it
started.
it it has to be, yeah, it has to be a 15 to get a 10 if it's certain car, a
Oh
Ricky Henderson rookie, the Aussie
no,
rookie.
right.
They
Never again.
absolutely do pop control.
Right.
I don't know if they
Oh,
do.
it's no, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
talking to my buddy, and it's like, you have to believe that if you send a card in and it truly is a 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person that says that for the first time, whoever
Mm-hmm.
you get when you send your card in, that random person that works at PSA, and they go, this is a 10. You better believe there's a button on that phone in front of her or him,
Oh,
right?
oh, yeah,
I need clearance to pass this 10.
sure.
And how many hands do you think that goes through before
Yeah,
they're like, okay, yeah, I guess we have to do it?
sure.
And that sucks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It just doesn't, it just feels phony. I don't know. I don't like it.
sure. Yeah, well, I mean, there's definitely, I mean, they know that they can control market dynamics and they can create demand. And I mean,
And they're doing a really good job at
and it's,
it. and
no, they
I
are,
don't know how.
and it's so arbitrary. I think pack grading is a good example. There are there are packs, okay, maybe the wrapper's a little off center or something. I'll see a pack that looks fantastic and it's a 5, and then I'll see a cello that's all warped in the PSA holder and it's a Gem Mint 10. And I'm like, okay, maybe this was a 10 when you slabbed it.
Right.
Now it looks like a
Not
hot
anymore.
mess.
Right.
The
And they've
pack,
changed their slabs so many times because of that, because they're
mm-hmm.
messing packs up.
Yeah,
And you would think for such a large company that
yeah,
it wouldn't be that hard to make a mold for whatever you need it for, and not
yes,
be ripping packs open and damaging things, and then oops,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then they don't explain anything because they don't have to.
Yeah, and I think now they're doing something with the holder where the gum won't shift as much or something. I think Tim was talking about that in the Facebook group. But even then, there are packs that are 9s, and then there's a giant gum poke that gets in the mail when you mail the pack back. When you get the pack back, it's like, this is a 9. It's got a
Right.
giant hole in it that wasn't there before. So
Right.
to me, it's almost the opposite of. I, I mean, I buy graded packs all the time. I have nothing against graded packs, but I do think there is a risk sometimes. If it's like a really expensive pack, you better hand deliver that thing to PSA.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
I wouldn't ship anything that,
no.
it could potentially be worth thousands of dollars,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because
It's my
there's too
favorite.
much. And when you ship it out, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, even if
Mm-hmm.
you were to get insurance on that, you're not
Mm-hmm.
going to get your money back, because who's going to say, first of all, we don't even know if that pack was good yet. And
Mm-hmm.
who's to say the value of that pack before it was authenticated? So good luck with the USPS trying to get anything out of them for money on the way there.
Yeah.
On the way back, once it has a grade attached to it and they can look it up and say, oh, it's worth this, then maybe you'll get your money. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, do you have so it seems like you've done a lot of different things with the packs that you got in this big find.
Yeah.
How many have you sent in for grading out of
So
these? And how have you determined? Because I know, because you showed me pictures of some that you had sent in for grading, but
yeah,
there seems like obviously there's a lot that you haven't sent in for grading.
there is. And I was waiting not
Hmm.
only because, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm pretty sure that I am the reason why they stopped grading packs, or it went up to, what was it at the height there?
It was I think
300, 150.
it was I think 100 maybe, I don't remember. Yeah, it was.
Oh, maybe they went to $100,
Yeah.
and then they went to $100. So
Hmm.
I was talking to Steve, and it was right after I bought this collection, and I was telling him the collection that I found.
Hmm.
So this was a Monday night, and then the next Tuesday morning they made the announcement that they'd no longer be grading packs to the $20 value. And I can't help but feel that it's my fault. Oops. Oops. Literally like 12 hours. 12 hours from the time I told Steve the collection I found till
Oh
they were
yeah.
done grading packs. So he was kind of like, all right, I know what's going to be in here. We're done. Like,
Sure, sure, sure. That's funny.
um, house have gone down. They went to 50 and now 30.
Hmm.
I've sent in, Jesus, probably 50 packs. I was taking it slow. I was making sure that I wasn't wasting money. Because I mean, even and talking to you in the conversations that we've had,
Hmm.
some packs just aren't worth getting graded.
Yeah.
They weren't big years, and unless they have a star showing in the back or they're perfect,
Hmm.
it's just not worth waiting and spending the money on when you can just sell it raw if you're confident that it's good.
Yeah.
So I'm still in the process of doing all that. And I know it sounds weird after 2 years, but this collection was so extensive that like I knew that I could kind of set those to the side and not worry about them because they're still
Hmm.
going to be there. You know what I
Sure.
mean? When I can come back around to them,
Sure.
just the raw cards alone. And I still haven't gone through I mean, I've gone through them. I sent in 120, 86 Fleer basketball for grading, and I
Hmm.
probably need to do another round. I've sent a ton of cards to SGC, over 500 cards to SGC, and so the unopened thing was kind of like I knew what it was, even not knowing what
Hmm.
it was, and I knew I had time to come back around, especially with the grading fees being $100 a pack.
Sure.
I had plenty of time to kind of look through it and make sure because it was overwhelming. The whole thing has been overwhelming. So
Sure. Well, I mean, after going through such a big buy, are you looking to? I know it sounds kind of crazy. Are you willing to to try to do that again in the future with
no,
another one?
I would love to if I could find time, first of all.
Sure.
But I've also been, and I know this, I've also been jaded by this collection
Hmm.
because again, I wasn't looking for it. I knew nothing, and it was so large, and I was able to cut my teeth on it and learn from it. But I also know people work their whole lives trying to find something like this,
Yeah.
and it never happens. It never falls in their lap unless you're Kurt. It just doesn't come
Sure.
along, right?
Sure.
So
Sure.
like, and I mean, Kurt advertises and he has people that call him that need to sell stuff and whatever. But like, people pay for ads and stuff looking for collections and never come across something like this. So I know better. That I was just lucky, right place, right time, and it'll likely never happen again. But
Sure.
you know, I've been able to build something from it. Um, so I'm forever grateful for, her letting me do that. And because it was quite obvious that I knew nothing when I was walking in there. It was just like, I'm not letting anybody else walk in here. I just knew. I knew it was special. So
Sure.
I locked it down.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the find of a lifetime. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Some of this, and every time if we're chatting and you send me a video and I see in the back, I see other stuff that I'm just like, oh, that looks amazing. That's how I'm like, okay, I know this. He's sitting on some amazing stuff here because oh yeah, that's just a 81 uh,
Oh, don't worry about
FASD
that.
box. Yeah, yeah. Don't
Don't
worry
worry
about it.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And one of the things that I had found raw in the collection was original print of Sports Illustrated. So volume number one, 1954.
Hmm.
It was in a leather binder with a COA,
Okay,
and I had never graded a comic in my life,
sure,
so I never touched it. I
sure.
left it in the plastic bag. I bubble wrapped the whole folder, the whole leather folder, and I shipped it off to SGC or CGC.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to write that it was like an expedited grading on the box, so they never opened it. So I waited like 6 months, and it came back a 9.8, none graded higher.
Wow,
So, and I think there's probably 70 of them in the world.
wow.
And since I've bought another one, so I have two of the
That,
70.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
been. I'm trying to. I'm gonna share this to my computer, and then
Sure.
hopefully just to. All right, you mind if I share my screen real
No,
quick?
not at all. Yeah, by all means.
All right, we'll see if we can do this here. And this is after we had taken a little bit out just to be able to walk through there.
Wow.
Boxes after boxes after boxes just stacked.
Jeez.
So there was that one, and then me and my buddy just. Oh, I guess that was a shorter video, but we're just pulling, like, you can see a fun bag on the table right here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, just Topps baseball out the ass. I think all these are, there was a quantity of it. And it's funny, I had probably 10 cases. Let me just turn this off. Sorry, I'm new at this.
No, no, it's fine.
I probably had 10 cases, 11 cases of 87 Topps baseball wax. And I mean, that stuff moves slow. It's not high demand. So
Sure.
I'd sold a couple cases worth of boxes, and the funniest thing happened. I get a message on eBay, and this is like 6 months ago now,
Hmm.
and it's Kruk Cards, and they want to buy my 87 Topps baseball case, and they want to know how many I have. And I'm like, yeah, I'll check the storage and I'll let you know.
Hmm.
And I went there, and I'm opening these boxes that are the outer boxes of the cases, and I'm pulling out Kruk flyers from 2003, 2004, where this guy bought them from and got them ready and sold them back to Kruk Cards 18 years later for 6 times the money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I sold him 7 cases of wax, a bunch of cases of racks. I drove up to somewhere in New Hampshire to like a FedEx place. I loaded a pallet up, and he shipped me friends and family.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. I lucked out, but yeah,
Well, I mean, like you said, that's such a tough product to move
it is.
if you have a lot of it. If you have
Right.
one case, all right, price it right and it'll move. You're going to eat some cost in shipping or whatever, but that's a lot of cases.
I got so sick of looking at it. And
I
there's
can
still a box in
imagine.
my closet, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to see you right now. Get out of my face.
Well, and that's one of the years. I mean, I don't have any. Yeah, it's one of the first years I remember as a kid, but I just don't
Yep.
like 87 tops.
I mean,
I don't
it's
like
wood
that.
grain. It's like the Volkswagen wood grain. I mean, it's not around for anymore for a reason.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not one of those where some products I'm like, okay, 75 tops. If an outsider looks at it, they're like, this is an ugly design for a baseball card. But if you love the 70s and if you love baseball, you understand not only is the
And
design awesome, but the rookie class is so
and it's
amazing.
super, super hard with those borders
Yep,
to get a high grade in any card,
yep,
because any little ding is noticeable, and then the centering is always a mess.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's some of the 71 tops. I think that's part of the one of the
The
reasons.
black with the black borders. Yep.
Oh yeah, in addition to
Yep.
the rarity of the unopened, oh, the wax packs for 71 right now are just, I mean, and
There's
tops,
nothing, right?
yeah, tops and O-Pee-Chee, they're both. I mean, you're going to spend a couple grand more than likely.
Right.
I mean, maybe O-Pee-Chee is a little cheaper. I haven't checked that market as
See, that's where you come in, and like, there's so much stuff, but you specialize in baseball, so it's easy to be like, okay, and have like a grasp on what something might be worth or the scarcity of it.
Mhm.
Um, and like I'm looking at all this stuff, and I'm just like, there's no friggin' way that I can like,
Sure,
you know what I mean? Look all this. I would sit here all day and just look stuff up, and then we're not doing anything. So it's like
sure,
I kind of had to just fly with it and just go and like just
yeah.
trust that it would all work out in the end because I don't know.
Sure, sure. Well, I'm glad that I mean that you have this find and that you have such an amazing story to share. And I appreciate you coming on to talk about it and to show some items too.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Did you want to show some
Yeah.
your
So
website because you have a new website, correct?
I do. So I just launched my own independent site, and I'll pull the screen up here if I can figure out how. So I just launched this, and it's just like Leland's or any other big auction house that you would buy stuff on because it's the same software that they all used. So there's nothing on it right now. I'm all loaded up, but nobody can see it yet.
Okay.
Um, so if you go to 44andmoreauctions.com and click on register, which is right here, you can just fill, and it's the same form that you would fill out for Leland's or for REA or for any of the big guys. So I'm trying to expand, and I'll show where I am now. So this is Auction Ninja. I do
Hmm.
Sunday auctions here. So we have an auction ending this Sunday and then every Sunday for the foreseeable future. And then real quick, eBay 44 underscore more. This is don't mind this. Don't mind the book, Jesus Christ. Um, that's something I actually just picked up. But yeah, complete set, a Desert Shield. Again, that's something that came in the collection.
Wow.
Um, this case right here came in the collection.
Wow.
It's it's been absolutely silly. And then, like I said, non-sports is my thing. So, um,
Yeah,
oh, Tom Brady. Yeah. Anyway.
awesome. How did you come up with the name 44 and more?
Oh, Jesus, you had to ask me that, didn't you? So, and I'll turn this off. 44 is April 4th, which is my clean date from heroin.
Oh, wow.
And it still sounds weird coming out of my mouth as much as it does hitting your ears.
Sure, sure.
But no, I was an IV heroin user for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Um, and I don't know how I got out of it. It was almost like another life, but my clean date is April 4th. So 444. And then I see 44 everywhere. I see the
Hmm.
time 444. And then the and more is, have you ever heard of like the semicolon project?
Yes, yes.
People use a semicolon as you know, abuse to drugs or mental health problems, or but the
Hmm.
semicolon itself is, it's not the end of the sentence. It's not a period.
Yeah,
There's a continuation, there's more story to tell,
yeah.
which is why you use a semicolon, but that's the and more. Um,
Oh, okay.
and it's weird. Not a whole lot of people ask me, and I forget sometimes where
Sure,
it came from.
sure.
So it's good that you asked me because it's important too. So
Well,
um,
that is
not to like, and I tried
no,
to keep that as short as possible because
no,
I know
no.
people have a problem hearing that kind of stuff, but like it's huge in the whole scope of things as well because like I wouldn't be here, and
Hmm.
just the things that have happened have been like it almost doesn't feel real. So it's good though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fantastic that you're clean and that you're doing something productive and that you seem very passionate about it.
I don't stop. I put
Yeah.
about 100 hours a week in,
Whew.
and I've built this thing now where it's bigger than I am, and
Hmm.
um, I need help. I need help.
Sure, sure.
Like I'm looking into office space now because I'm just doing this out of my house. Um, and I'm gonna have to hire some people and scale this. And
Sure.
the only reason that the site is not live with, I mean, it's live, but the auction's not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I have it all loaded in the background, and I just tell him when to flip it on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm nervous as hell to turn that thing on
Sure.
because I mean, what if no one sees it?
Sure.
Um, I know I've done some advertising, but like, oh man, it's just so that transition because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like and I'm not nervous that like at first that no one's going to see it, but then I'm nervous for the floodgates to open
Sure.
because there's no shortage of consignment out there. It's just earning people's trust
Yep.
and then giving them reason to sell with you. So I mean, once you turn that switch, there's no turning it off.
Yes.
So I kind of want to. I need some help first before I can like fully go into it.
Sure.
And you know, I can't do everything. I'm doing advertising, marketing, shipping, listing, you
Mm-hmm.
name it. I mean, it's just it's too much for me.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think, yeah, it's a grind. I think it's and I think the fact that if you can get some help, the fact that you're not going to put the site live until you're comfortable with where you're at,
Right.
that's a good decision. I mean, that's
Well, it's just it's not even a decision. I just know better. Like
sure.
the auction ninja, the Sunday auctions, eBay, doing stuff on Facebook is just. I mean that's it. That's it. That's all my time right there. So like
Sure.
to open it up, not to mention learn a new platform and try to like
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I mess up every once in a while on Auction Ninja. You sent me your address through an email and I saw it and I read it and I still sent it to the billing address on file. So stuff like that happens where just like I'm somewhere else and I'm thinking about something else and it's not good because it obviously reflects on your business. So I know better than to go forward and not have that help because I just
Sure.
don't want to. It's a good thing, so I don't want to mess things up. I want to do things right and make sure it's streamlined and good to go before I turn that switch.
Absolutely. Well, I will say, as someone who has bought some packs from you, that if you guys are out there and you're looking for a large supply of vintage unopened packs, I mean, he has a lot of stuff. Some of this stuff from the find, from this big,
Some stuff since I've bought since.
yeah, yeah. And he's got some nice quality unopened items on there, graded, raw, whatever. Oh, that's cool,
So this is
man.
what I was getting Doug Smith's advice on the other day. So this is a box of Venezuelan
Oh, wow.
DC, or is it DC? Yeah. Um, there's 100 packs in this box,
Oh, wow.
2 card packs, and it's Venezuelan.
Oh, wow.
And I bought a lot from Leland's, and it had 49 boxes in it. 49 Venezuelan boxes with 100 packs each in them.
Oh,
ET, Hulk, Monstrous, and Space Invaders versus prehistoric animals. And they're
wow.
all early 80s Venezuelan non-sport.
Wow,
So
that's
I had to ask him his advice. And you know when Doug Smith says that he hasn't seen a couple of those things, and Kurt as well. Kurt was my first person to go to.
sure.
I mean, you know that it's something. You know, both of them are like, well, I no clue. I've never seen that. You're like, yes.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Yeah, especially yeah, Doug with the non-sport. I mean, yeah, if it's out there, he's got at least one of most of
I
it.
think he just went over 6,000 different packs
Yeah, that's
of
just
sport and non-sport. But
yeah.
like,
And,
how have you not run out
and this is his second collection. He had an entire collection that he sold a while back, and he has
and
since
started all over again?
rebuilt it and has 6,000.
So he had a wife and then not anymore, and then the collection came back, right?
Yeah, I don't know the story, but that would I don't know the story. That's
I
all.
hear that
But
more than everything. People are like, "Oh, my wife." I'm like, "I have a dog," so
sure,
she's.
sure.
I thought she'd be there.
Yeah, no. Happy wife, happy life. Yeah.
Right, right. And
Sometimes.
sometimes you have to sacrifice. You see it all the time. Oh, I need to buy a house, or wife
Hmm.
says some stuff's got to go. So it's like, that's
Ab-
always my first assumption, especially when you know it's something he loves, and it's like, to start all over again.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, no, it's yeah, but he's already 6,000 strong. So that's I think
I
his
talked to him.
collection.
He's like working his way through, you know, Japan and like
Yeah.
I have to figure every single country is the same, like just a rabbit hole in its own.
Oh,
And I don't.
absolutely. Yeah, I can't even, some of the rabbit holes I can't even go down. I think I try my best. I'm just going to stick with 70s and early 80s baseball and just focus on this, because if I go down these other, I tell my wife, I'm like, I think I want to start collecting this type of stuff. She's like, maybe you should just, she tells me in her own way, like, that's probably not a good thing for you to do.
Oh my God.
She's a wise woman. But yeah, well, either way, Jeff, thanks so much again
Yeah, no,
for
thank you.
it was a blast, and nice chatting with you. And everybody, check out his Auction Ninja site, his eBay store, and good luck getting the site up and running as well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Until next time, everybody, take care of each other. I'll talk to you guys soon.